up everybody, and welcome to my channel. This is my very first video, and today we will be making candy jars. Something very simple and easy to start out with. In the pictures here you will see kind of what we're going to be working with today. And here are some pictures of the materials that you will need. You might want to pause it, screenshot it, write it down, whatever you need to do, or just watch and follow along. Alright, so let's get started. Right here you see that I have my candy jar. Comes with the lid, very easy to come off. And it is plastic, you guys. You can use glass with this project, but I decided to go with plastic because I have a toddler at home. Well, a 5-year-old boy at that. And he likes to run and bump and jump and throw toys. So I think it was safer to choose plastic. Alright, so now we are going to begin our painting process. You saw the 3 colors that I was using in the beginning, and here I'm just pouring them into my little paint palette to have them all ready to go. I will say that you want to be careful when you're choosing your paint, simply because paint comes in all different kinds of finishes. I was not paying attention and I did not realize that my navy was a silk or satin finish while my white and gold were matte finishes, which didn't matter in the end because of the finishing top layer coat that I used, but just keep that in mind when you're choosing your colors. But here I am just painting the rim of my terracotta planter, and as you saw, I really did not know what I was going to do, or at least what color I was going to do. I had a clear vision when I went into this project, but once I started, you'll see me make a lot of changes. It looks like I'm paused or stopped, and it's because I am, because as I'm starting to do the project, other visions and things kept coming to mind, and so I kept changing it, which is okay. Again, another example here. I started out with an idea and I changed it. And you'll see me change it again within this same clip. When you're doing crafts, it's okay to have a vision or an idea or a plan in mind. And it's okay to stick with it if that is exactly what you want to do. However, don't be afraid to open yourself up to the possibilities of something else. Because once you start a craft, and you start working on it and you start seeing things come together right in front of you, you might decide right in that moment, you know what, I want to do this color instead of that color, or I might want to paint this pattern instead of that pattern. And just allow yourself to do those little split-second changes. Now I'm going to tell you something I should have changed when I did this, and this is something I would do different. The paint that I used for this plastic part, I had to put several coats of paint on this plastic, and I think it was more so the color than the actual paint. But if you're going to use plastic, I would suggest spray painting instead of using actual paint, because I think it'll give it a better coverage. You'll see what I mean in the end of this video. But like I said, we don't make mistakes here in craft world. We don't. Bob Ross said, we just have happy little accidents, and they can easily be fixed, or we can incorporate it into whatever we're doing and make it work for us. But honestly, I think I applied maybe 4 or 5 coats of this white paint onto that plastic. It just wasn't looking right to me, and I finally just gave up and said, trust the process. Okay, in this part you see me painting the gold onto the main part of the planter, and honestly the number of coats you use just depends on how vibrant you want the colors to be. I think for this I may have applied about 3 or so coats. And this is sped up because it took me quite a while to do this, simply because I was trying to be perfect in the beginning, and then I caught myself kind of forgetting what I was doing, which was recording a video, because crafting for me is very relaxing. It helps quiet my mind and put my spirit at ease a little bit. So I got lost in it and totally forgot what I was doing. So that is why this video, at least this part, is sped up, because it took me quite a while to do the painting. And honestly, this will be the longest part of this particular craft, is the painting, because you have to wait for all the different parts to dry. And again, depending on how many coats of paint you choose, you have to wait for each of those layers to dry before you can move on. And see, here I go again, adding another coat of this antique white to that plastic jar. That jar was giving me a headache, y'all, I promise. But again, I made it work for me in the end. And another thing you might want to be careful of is the different paint brushes you use. As you see, I started out with that sponge brush, and because it was a big surface area to cover. And I did a lot of my touch-ups with this smaller brush you see me working with now. But just be careful of the different type of brushes you use, because certain brushes hold paint more, certain brushes distribute paint better. So it's all up to you. Like I said, there's really no right or wrong way to craft. There's no specific tools you have to use. You just use what you have and make it work for you. And honestly, I'm looking at this now as I'm watching it. I could have kept those lines in there, maybe dry brushed it with the gold or some other darker color and made a distressed look. Like I said, when you see things as you're starting to do it, new ideas come to mind. So, and as you guys are watching this, honestly, tell me in the comments below what colors you would have chosen. It took me forever, and I do mean forever, to pick a color combination. I was asking friends and family which color combination I should use, and I ended up creating a combination of those combinations that they chose. So again, tell me in the comments what colors that you would use, or what theme would you make yours. I mean, like I said, I had an idea of what I wanted to do, not necessarily the colors I wanted to use, but I had an idea. If you hear giggling in the background, that is my child that I was talking about as to why I chose plastic. Yeah. Okay, here's another little happy accident moment. As I was painting this white trim, I thought to myself, why? Because it gave me more headaches in the jar, I think, or they were about equal. But either way, it just wasn't coming out the way I wanted it to. And I'm a perfectionist, and I will say crafting is not about being perfect. It's about relaxing and having fun. But there's still a bit of perfectionist in me. So as I was painting this, and it kept getting onto the blue part and the gold part, and I was just getting very frustrated. And I thought to myself, I should have just left this part alone. See? Happy little accident right there. And it's easily fixable. See? Simple little touch-up. And I think I may have had to put a few coats to cover that up completely, but wasn't nothing too hard to fix. Alright, we're moving on to the next part. You'll see here, those are the rhinestones as part of my decorations that I chose to use. But you will see in that bottom corner the top to the jar. Now, I didn't use the top for my final design, but if you wanted to, you could easily paint it like I did here. Again, I had intention on using the top, but once I started to complete the project, I went a completely different direction. So that's why the top you'll see here is painted, but in the end you won't see it anymore because I didn't use it. So here I am measuring those rhinestones. I thought I measured it, but yeah, again, nothing a little snip can't fix. cut off one extra layer. And there we have it, perfect fit. And this is the point where I realized, Caitlin, you gotta plug up your hot glue gun. So while I'm plugging it up, you will see me pulling out this Mod Podge here. Now Mod Podge is basically glue, essentially. It's a sealing coat of glue. You can make your own Mod Podge by mixing glue and water, essentially. But here you'll see me mixing Mod Podge with glitter. And even though it looks white, I will stress this 1,000 times, because I have to tell myself that when I'm using it. Even though it looks white, when it dries, it will be clear. So I mix the Mod Podge with the glitter, and as you see, I'm just painting it on the little top part of the top of the jar. And I caught myself trying to add some blue to tint it a little bit. It really didn't pop up, y'all, so don't worry about it. It dried completely clear with the glitter remaining. And you'll see me doing another switch. I had no intention on adding that Mod Podge and glitter to the rim of that terracotta pot plant. But as I was painting it on the top, something said, hey, put it on the bottom. So that's exactly what you see me doing here. And I like how it turned out. That glossy, glittery, it's cute. My Mod Podge was a matte finish. There are several different finishes for Mod Podge, so be careful when you are picking some out. There are some for specific products to make them waterproof. Some have a satin finish, some have a brushstroke finish, so just pay attention when you are picking out Mod Podge for your projects. Right here, I am simply just gluing on that rhinestone chain to the bottom of my planter. The strand itself wasn't long enough to wrap around the entire base of it, so you'll just see me cutting out a couple of extra pieces to just fit in that back spot. It didn't have to be perfect, but if you wanted it to be a complete circle, that's all you have to do just to fill in that little gap. Nothing too serious. I know some people may think crafting can be tedious, and it really just depends on you and the craft that you're doing. If you want to make it tedious, it can be. Again, the perfectionist in me comes out sometimes, and I have to get those certain little details to be just right in order for me to be happy with what I'm crafting. Some people could have just left that little empty spot open and been perfectly fine. The next step I took that thick rope you saw in the beginning that comes in various thicknesses, and I just used it to go around the rim of the jar. Now if you wanted to use the top, you can still do this, you just don't need to put on as many layers as I did. But somewhere along the line, I don't remember when, I decided that I was not going to use the top. And so that is why you see me put rope all the way around and all the way up to the top of this jar. Now here I'm just using alcohol to wipe off any excess paint or dirt or glue that may have gotten on the front of this jar, because I need it to be as clear as possible before I add my decorations to it, which you see right here. Those are foil rub-on transfers. I love those for projects. And that is just a wood laser cutout of the word inspire. I had no idea which one I was going to use again, but I want you all to think about which one you would have used. Now I liked either one, and honestly the design you put on here just depends on what you plan on using it for. Like that would have been really, really pretty. Painted it gold, or even the blue with the gold flakes on it. That would have been very pretty. And again, I love working with these. They are so easy to work with. As you see, I mean, in the beginning you saw that I chose the foil. And with these rub-ons, all you have to do, this one is more easy than the other ones, but all you have to do is just cut out whichever design you wanted to use from that sheet. Peel off the back, place it onto whatever surface it is that you're going to put it on, and then just rub it. With these, there wasn't much work involved, because you'll see me scraping it like I would if these were regular transfers. With the foil ones I found, using them today, well, this first time, you don't have to scrape them as hard. You just have to lightly rub and make sure that they're on there pretty good, and then just peel that top sticker off, and there you go. Now here you'll just see me placing them to make sure I have them in the right spot. Yeah, see right here, I started scraping them like I would if they were the other four transfer stickers that I've used in the past. And I realized in that moment, I don't have to scrape as hard. And I don't know if it's because these are foil or if it's because of the surface that I'm putting them on. But these rub-on transfers work good for smooth surfaces like plastic, glass, paper, wood, anything that's not porous. Yeah, I really loved how I did these hearts. I had no clue what I was doing at this point. I was tired because I did this late at night. I had to wait until my baby was asleep before I could do this project because I did not want him trying to help this time, since this was the first one and I was itching to do this craft. I don't know why, y'all. But it really turned out so cute. Let's just sit back and watch and enjoy it together, shall we? And another heart, placing it in the perfect position. Rub, rub, rub. And if you can't see the quote clearly or the phrase clearly, it says, "Love begins at home." At least I think that's what it said. Can't even remember. And here you will see me adding some more of that Mod Podge and glitter. You don't have to use the glitter. I just wanted to use the glitter to give it an extra sparkle. And I'm using it to not only add the sparkle to the remaining part of the glass or the jar, but I'm also using it to help seal in those rub-on transfers so they aren't easily scratched off or from wear and tear. You do not have to do this step. You do not have to seal in those rub-on transfers, because another good thing about rub-on transfers, they are easy to come off. So say for certain surface areas, this one for instance, or glass, say you put that transfer on there but you wanted to change it. If you didn't seal it in with the Mod Podge, you could absolutely do that. I do believe they come off with a little bit of alcohol or just soap and water and a little elbow grease. They come off fairly easily on surfaces such as this plastic or glass. So you could change it and have it fit whatever theme or decoration area you needed it to be. And here you'll see me adding some of that Mod Podge again to the rest of my terracotta planter, again just to protect it from any wear and tear damage, scratches. This just helps keep the paint looking fresh. Again, it's a completely optional step. Don't have to do this. Again, I forgot y'all that I was recording at some point. As you will see, I disappeared from the frame here. I had to make sure I was getting into all them spots. I told you I'm a perfectionist. I can't help it. I tried to show you all what I was doing, but again, I forgot what I was doing. And again, as you see, it dried clear. And now I'm just adding it to the white of the jar, because in my head I'm like, okay, something's got to give with this. Something's got to work. Something's got to make it better. And it did, in my opinion, make it look a little bit better, at least when it was dry. Alright, we have come to the final step, which is hot gluing the jar to the terracotta planter. Now, because I have plastic, hot glue was enough, because the plastic jar itself is not heavy. However, if you were using glass, I would suggest using hot glue and E6000 glue for the extra support. Or you could just use E6000 glue, but if you were using just use E6000 glue for this project. If you were using glass, however, I do suggest using at least 2 different kinds of glue for just extra support. And here you'll see me adding some more of that rope to the under part of this project. That was a last minute decision, as you saw me digging in that drawer to figure out what I wanted to do. Keep that drawer when I'm doing crafts. I like to keep all my supplies right near me, so I take them out and put them in that drawer, so I have everything I need specifically for that craft right there. Even when I'm cleaning up, if I need something last minute, I know it's in that drawer next to me. Helps me stay organized. Y'all, there are so many uses for this. You'll see in the end a couple of the ones that I kind of showed you all, but you could use this for a candy jar. You could use this for a fish bowl if you chose to use the glass bowls. You could use this for a nightlight, vase. You can put potpourri inside. You can give it to a child and they can use it as a bank. You could put, if you were to use the top, you could put a tea light in it and put some rocks or glass rocks in the bottom and put on the table for like a wedding reception or something like that. I'm telling you, the possibilities for this particular craft are endless. It's only up to your imagination what you choose to do with this. Y'all see my baby. Yes, here you see me use it as a candy jar, and that is the prime function that I chose for this particular project. And here you'll see me with I just put some flowers that I'm using for another project in there, just so you can see it being used as a vase. But if you filled it with rocks or something like that on the inside, it will be very pretty. I know you see those little gold rhinestones on the front that you didn't see me put on the video. That's because there was a happy little accident and I just used those little gems to cover them up, and I think it added a cute little Disney flair to it, since the house kind of reminds me of the one from the movie Up. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Very emotional movie. Now here is where you'll see what I was talking about, that white paint. It looks cracked under this light, but that's because there's a lot of lights in this video, and this is a bad video. I was trying my best to get you all to see it. It did look pretty with the lights inside. The camera just did not pick it up nicely at all. I might have to try this craft again and do some things differently. But if you all try this craft and you do some things differently, definitely let me know and tell me how it worked out. I'm all about taking suggestions and comments, so please don't be afraid to do so. Those hearts are just so pretty under that light. I'm desperately trying to show you all this, how it looks, because it looks so pretty. And if you did this and put some flowers at the top, beautiful. See, like this. You can actually put a real candle in here, not this one specifically or particularly because this is plastic, but if you were to use a glass bowl, you could do a floating candle or just a regular candle on a bed of rocks or something, that like a tea light candle. Work perfectly fine. Here it is with nothing in it, just so you can see how it turned out. Again, I'm proud of myself for the struggles, the last minute changes, wanting to be perfect. It kind of looks like a lighthouse to me. But again, I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you did, please comment, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, share it, and again, comment below. Tell me what you would have done differently, or if you plan on doing it, let me know how it turned out. See you in the next video.